Just for the record, I think the over-under on points in that game, the Carolina-Arizona game, is 49. Moving on, we got the Eagles visiting the Giants. This is difficult. Once again, everybody seems to like the Eagles in this game a lot. People are taking the Eagles on the money line. People are parlaying the Eagles. Slow down, everybody. Okay, the Eagles have won, 5 of their last 6. They've looked pretty good other than the Washington game. Defense is playing great. Offense is playing good. McNabb's been on fire more or less ever since he got benched in Baltimore. And, now they're in a playoff game. They won their game last week against Minnesota, obviously. And they looked pretty good doing it, but their offense was a little stunted at times. They settled for a lot of field goals. They had a couple of crucial turnovers that just didn't make a lot of sense. And at some points, they looked a little questionable. Now, when you look at the Eagles, you have to consider, first of all, you got Donovan McNabb, who is a great quarterback, but he will come out and look lethargic way too often for a quarterback like him. He'll come out and throw passes into the dirt, overthrow his receivers by 6-7 yards. He will just go out there and look lazy. This happens a lot. And then on the other side, you got Andy Reid. One of the worst challengers in the league. He doesn't know how to use timeouts. He doesn't know how to manage the clock. Sometimes he goes past crazy when it makes no sense. He doesn't seem to utilize the best players on his offense, Brian Westbrook, very well. From time to time, he just does things that make absolutely no sense. He's a great coach. He knows how to, how should I put this? He can build a team. He can construct the team. He can prepare the team for the game as well as anybody. But once you get in that game, you're in for a wild ride because his play calling has always been questionable. It's, so, I'm just saying, I would never, ever trust the Eagles. I might pick them to win games. I might even pick them against bigger spreads. But I will never 100% trust the Eagles in any playoff game. Pretty much any game, for that matter. It's just something I've learned. So, however, Giants, the main question with the Giants is, did they end the season cold or not? Now, they lost 3 of 4. Look at those losses. They lost to Philly at home. Okay, that's something you need to consider. They lost to the Cowboys on the road, and they lost to Minnesota. All those 3 teams are either in the playoffs or playoff caliber. Dallas, I think they're a playoff caliber team. They're 9-7. Most years, 9-7 gets you in the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs, but I think they're a playoff caliber team. They just had a... Unfortunately for them, 9-7 was not good enough to get into the playoffs. Okay, saying that, let's see. But if you look at that one win they had, that was against Carolina, the 12-4 number 2 seed in the NFC. So you look at a huge win like that, very intense, overtime. Derek Ward completely destroyed the Panthers. They came up with clutch plays when they really needed it. So, maybe they did not end the season as cold as it seems. And, people are saying, well, they look like the Cowboys of last year, and the Eagles look like the Giants of last year. And people say this about the Titans too, actually. These are not the 2007 Cowboys. They are the 08 Titans and the 08 Giants. If you look at the 07 Cowboys, they had all that talent, but they were very comfortably numb. They got lazy, and their coach pretty much let their players do whatever they wanted. It was they pretty much Wade Phillips would just sit back and tell his guys, okay, go chill over the bye week. Just go to Mexico, Cabo, whatever. Do whatever you want. It was a motivational thing. Tom Coughlin and Jeff Fisher, that's about as far from Wade Phillips as you can get. If they can't motivate a team to show up even after kind of coasting through the last month of the season, who can? So I trust Jeff Fisher and Tom Coughlin to motivate their teams for the postseason. Now, earlier this year when they met, the last time they met, The Giants could not mount an offense. No, they didn't. Brandon Jacobs and Derek Ward couldn't really run as effectively as they're used to. Plexico Burress wasn't there. He's still not there. So if the Eagles were to shut down the Giants offensively, I wouldn't be surprised. However, I expect the Giants defense to shut down the Eagles offense as well. It's a very talented offense, but it's a little lacking at wide receiver, and that's where you beat the Giants. You beat them by throwing all over them because their secondary is not really that good. Their pass rush is what's really good. So I think that the Eagles' offense is not going to be able to do much. I think the Giants are going to key on Westbrook and keep him down. I think I could easily see Donovan never getting into a rhythm. And I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game, so take the under on points. I think the over-under is 40. And I think the Giants are going to win this game, but I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be something like 13-10. So I'm going to say actually take the points. The Eagles are underdogs by 4 points. The Giants are giving 4 points. Take the Eagles plus 4, because the Eagles could win this game, don't get me wrong. If McNabb shows up and Andy Reid shows up and they bring their A game, they could totally win this game, and that could definitely feasibly happen. But I definitely think that the Giants, in fact, I think the Giants are going to win by 1 field goal. I think it's going to be something like 13-10, like I said, 16-13, something like that. So take the points, take the under. That's what I got. In general, I'd say be very careful with gambling with spreads this weekend, because these are brutal, very brutal. Finally, we got the Steelers and Chargers. The Chargers, there's some Ewing theory potential here, and if you don't know what the Ewing theory is, go Google it or Wikipedia it, because it's kind of interesting. Basically, the quick summary of the Ewing theory is a team has a superstar who puts up these great numbers for many years for that team, but that team never accomplishes anything substantial during his time with that team. And then that player gets hurt or leaves that team, everybody writes them off, thinking, oh, they're screwed this season. And then they end up doing a lot better than people thought. They're better without that superstar. So if the Chargers can, go to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl without LT, that would be the Ewing theory at work. Anyway, I kind of like the Chargers in this game. They're riding high, apparently, off a 5-game winning streak, including last week's overtime thriller against the Colts. Phillip Rivers has been the best quarterback in the league this year in terms of straight-up statistics. Darren Sproles is getting the full bulk of the carries now, and he's been very effective. The defense played way better against Indy than they have all season. That's fine. But we got Pittsburgh. They rested last week. In fact, they slept walk through the last several weeks. So either they're going to be rusty or they're going to be rested. I'm thinking rested. Second, Heinz Field. We all know what this does to teams. It completely cuts off the points. It makes just running the ball or getting any deep throws going very hard. Really, offense in general is very hard to come by. Pittsburgh has the #1 defense in the league and one of the best defenses we've seen in the last decade. San Diego is probably worn out because they've been in playoff mode for a month and a half now. So yeah, I'm not going to completely buy in on this whole Charger thing. If you look at the game earlier this year they played, Pittsburgh won 11-10. And that game was weird. Pittsburgh had over 400 total yards of offense and 9 offensive points. They won thanks to a safety. So that strikes me as an aberration. They should have blown the Chargers out in that game. Why they only got 9 points on 400 yards of offense, I don't know. But I'm telling you, if you believe in trends, if you believe in flukes and stuff like that, Pittsburgh should have won that game by 20. Anyway, I'm definitely going to take Pittsburgh to win this game. It's going to be a defensive struggle. I don't think the Pittsburgh offense is that good. I don't think they're going to be able to do that much in this game. Definitely take the under on points. I think it's like 38.5. Definitely take the under there. As for the spread, it's Pittsburgh -6. I'm going to actually say bet with Pittsburgh -6. I think they win by at least a touchdown. I don't think the Chargers offense is going to be able to do much of anything. All right, I'm out.